The distress beacon pierced through the void of space like a desperate scream. On the bridge of the Tal Shera, Fleet Admiral Voron's communications officer turned toward him with trembling antennae. "Admiral, we're receiving an emergency transmission from the carry system." It's her, sir." Voron's four eyes widened. He knew immediately who her meant. There was only one human who would transmit on those old frequency codes, the ones used decades ago when the galaxy was a different place. "Put it through," Voron commanded, his voice steady despite the sudden acceleration of his twin hearts. The holographic display flickered to life, revealing a face aged by time, but unmistakable. Carrie's. Her once dark hair was now streaked with silver, lines etched around her eyes. But those same eyes still held that peculiar human determination that had saved his life 43 standard cycles ago. "Voron," she said, her voice crackling through damaged communication arrays. "I wouldn't call if it wasn't." Static consumed her words. "Harvester fleet. They're systematically destroying everything. My colony, the mining stations, even the hospital ships. We need—" The transmission died. Voron stood motionless for exactly 3 seconds, an eternity for a Valkyrie commander. His tactical mind was already calculating distances, fleet positions, fuel reserves. But his memories were calculating something else entirely. 43 cycles ago, the galaxy had barely known humans existed. They were newcomers, primitives who had only just achieved faster-than-light travel using combustion-based chemical propulsion systems that made other species laugh. Voron had been a young lieutenant then, assigned to a survey mission in an unmapped sector when his ship encountered a spatial anomaly that shredded their engines. They had drifted for weeks, life support failing, hope dwindling. His crew of 17 was down to 11 when they detected a primitive human vessel, a cargo hauler, of all things, barely capable of interstellar travel. The human captain, a woman named Carries, had done the unthinkable. She had diverted her course, burned through fuel she couldn't afford to replace, and spent 2 weeks keeping Voron's crew alive in her cramped cargo holds. She had shared her limited rations, jerry-rigged her atmospheric processors to accommodate Valkyrie biology, and refused every offer of compensation. "You needed help," she had said simply, in broken galactic common. That's enough reason. The Valkyrie command had offered her titles, wealth, citizenship. She had refused everything except one thing: a communications beacon and a frequency code. "Just in case I ever need help too," she had said with that strange human smile. Voron had watched her battered cargo ship limp away toward human space, never expecting to see her again. The galaxy was vast, and humans were still finding their place in it. "Sir," his communications officer's voice pulled him back to the present. Voron's mandibles clicked in what humans would recognize as grim determination. "Send coded transmissions on all channels. Priority Alpha 1. I want every ship under Valkyrie command within 10 parsecs to rendezvous at these coordinates." He transmitted Carries' last known position. "Admiral, that's nearly the entire 7th Fleet. Command will demand justification for such a massive mobilization." "Then tell Command," Voron said quietly, "that we're paying a debt." Within 6 hours, 47 Valkyrie warships had assembled. It wasn't just Voron's fleet. Word had spread through channels both official and unofficial. 17 of those ships were commanded by officers who had been on that doomed survey vessel 43 cycles ago. They remembered the human who had saved them, but the rest came for a different reason. Among the Valkyrie, there was a saying, "Shirvala Chimeran," the debt that transcends law. When someone saved your life at cost to themselves, you answered their call, no matter the circumstance. It was more than honor. It was sacred. The fleet engaged FTL drives, tearing through space toward the carry system. They arrived to carnage. The Harvesters, a nomadic species that stripped systems of resources before moving on, had deployed their entire battle cluster. 36 massive Harvester ships, each the size of a small moon, were methodically dismantling the asteroid colonies where human miners and their families lived. Escape pods dotted the space between debris fields like scattered seeds that Carries' voice crackled through once more, originating from a damaged civilian transport. "Voron, if that's you, fall back. There are too many. Save yourselves and get word to—" "Negative." Carries, Voron interrupted. "All ships, Battle Formation Shirvala. Target their harvester processors. If we can't destroy them, we cripple their ability to strip this system. The Valkyrie fleet moved with practiced precision, their ships dancing through space in coordinated strikes. Plasma lances cut through harvester shields while torpedo spreads targeted critical infrastructure. The harvesters, accustomed to overwhelming primitive defenses, found themselves facing a coordinated military response, but they were still outnumbered and outmassed. Admiral, their dreadnought is charging its planet cracker weapon, Tactical reported. Target appears to be the primary colony asteroid. Voron's eyes locked onto the massive vessel. 30,000 humans lived on that asteroid. Carries was somewhere among them. All ships, concentrate fire on that dreadnought. Everything we have. Sir, that will leave our flanks exposed. Do it. 47 warships unleashed their full arsenals. The void lit up with weapons fire as every missile, every energy weapon, every kinetic round struck the harvester dreadnought's charging array. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then the dreadnought's planet cracker exploded internally, the contained energy tearing through its hull like paper. Secondary explosions rippled through the massive vessel as it broke apart, debris scattering across space. The remaining harvester ships, their command vessel destroyed, began a chaotic retreat. They had come expecting easy prey, not a prepared military force willing to sacrifice everything. Voron allowed himself one moment of relief before issuing orders. All ships, begin search and rescue operations. Prioritize life support emergencies. Medical teams to all civilian vessels. 3 hours later, Voron stood in the docking bay of the Tal Shera as a battered civilian transport connected to his flagship. The airlock cycled, and there she was. Carries looked smaller than he remembered, more fragile, but she walked with that same purposeful stride. She stopped in front of him, and for a long moment, they simply looked at each other. "You came," she said finally. "You called." Voron replied simply that Carries' eyes glistened with moisture, that peculiar human response to strong emotion. 47 ships. You brought 47 warships for one old cargo hauler who helped you decades ago. No, Voron corrected gently. We brought 47 warships for the human who taught us that helping those in need requires no other justification. You gave us that gift once. We merely returned it. Around them, Valkyrie crew members stood at attention, their antennae raised in salute. A gesture of profound respect. Carries laughed, a sound mixed with tears. "I'm just one person." "Yes," Voron agreed. "But you helped one person who remembered." And he told others. And they told others. That is how humans change the galaxy. Carries. One act of kindness at a time, rippling outward until entire fleets answer the call. In the days that followed, more ships arrived. Not just Valkyrie, but species who had served alongside them, who had heard the story of the human cargo captain and the debt repaid. The carry system would be rebuilt, stronger than before, protected by treaties and alliances forged in gratitude. And throughout the galaxy, in 1,000 languages, a new saying began to spread. Never forget the human who helped you. For when you answer their call, you answer with more than ships. You answer with the very best of what civilization can be.